Hey YouTube, Untamed here. People are regretting their vehicle purchases here in 2026 for so many reasons. In today's video, I'll be presenting alarming stats, facts, and figures from Consumer Reports, real testimonials from people who purchased their vehicle this year, as well as some real data from the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration that paints an extremely clear picture of just how bad the car market has gotten. Stick with me as we talk through it all. Starters, so many people overpaid for their vehicles this year and last year. That's no news to anybody. So many folks right now have monthly auto loan payments over $1,000. There's also a tremendous amount of folks who are paying over $1,500 per month for their auto loan, especially if you bought a full-size SUV or pickup truck. Well, get ready to fork over that $1,500 plus just to keep it in the garage. But it gets worse than that. Not only did they overpay for the vehicle, they extended that loan duration out tremendously to the point where there's really no end in sight. There is no light at the end of the tunnel for so many Americans right now. The amount of people who took out an 84-month auto loan in 2025 reached 23%. Over 1/5, nearly 1/4 of all auto loans taken out were 7-year auto loans. Isn't that crazy? And nearly 3% of all auto loans taken out were for 96 months, 8-year loans. Which is why it should come as no surprise that we are seeing record levels of vehicle repossessions across the country. And not only record levels, but record levels of growth. It is growing at a compounding rate, at an alarming rate, okay? We talk about it plenty on the channel, but this right here perhaps is the most telling sign of just how bad the car market has gotten. People are struggling and struggling bad. Last year in 2025, we had over 2.5 million vehicles repossessed. That year prior in 2024, 1.75 million vehicles. And in 2023, just under 1.5 million vehicles. That growth rate is alarming. And perhaps the scariest part of all is people are doing it voluntarily. They're picking up the phone, calling the bank, calling the repo man, saying, hey, I can't keep up with these monthly payments. They're absolutely suffocating me. Please get this car out of my garage. Get it out of my driveway. I cannot afford it anymore, even if it means crucifying their credit score. And the thing that so many car dealerships fail to recognize is those folks who are getting their vehicles repossessed, they're not re-entering the new vehicle market, right? They're not coming back to the new vehicle market and buying something maybe a few months later. Their credit was absolutely ruined by that repossession. So they don't have that luxury of re-entering the new vehicle market. So they're really forced to go buy secondhand, buy a used vehicle, and hopefully paying cash outright for it, avoiding a loan. And that right there is a part of the reason why used vehicle prices are continuously skyrocketing. People fail to do the math. When they buy that new vehicle, they crunch the numbers, they look at that monthly payment on that new vehicle, but they kind of stop there. They fail to recognize how much they're actually going to pay in interest versus the principal if they carry that loan through term. And if they took out that 84-month loan or 96-month loan, that difference between the principal payment and how much is going toward interest is staggering. And they fail to recognize that. They just they're nearsighted. They look at that monthly payment a couple months out and they, okay, I can keep up with that. But that becomes a suffocating figure over years. Not only that, they're not looking beyond that monthly payment. They're not looking at the insurance premium. I know so many folks who buy new vehicles and they fail to even get a quote on how much that vehicle will cost to insure. They don't know how much it'll cost until after they've already signed on the dotted line. And that is a recipe for disaster, especially right now with insurance premiums over doubling, sometimes even tripling depending on where you live over the last 2.5 years. Perhaps the worst part of it all, the thing leading to the highest amount of repossessions truly is people failing to forecast what that maintenance and service and repair costs are going to be for their vehicle that they purchase. People love to buy BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, Porsches, Audis, but they fail to recognize just how expensive they are to maintain. We talk about it plenty on the channel, but the average new vehicle purchase price tipped over $50,000 at the end of 2025. $50,000. That is the new norm for a run-of-the-mill ordinary vehicle within the United States. That is pretty sickening to say out loud, huh? And that monthly payment right now, for most auto loans taken out, over $760 on a new vehicle purchase. On a used vehicle purchase, we're looking at $540. And it's sad when you look at the national average interest rates being applied to new vehicle purchases versus used vehicle purchases, people are just blindsided by how much they ultimately end up spending on their used vehicle. They don't end up saving that much money by comparison to new because that interest rate is so much higher. If they carry that loan through term, oftentimes that used vehicle will cost dang near as much as they would have paid on a new one, but they fail to do that math. For instance, right now across the country, the national average interest rate being applied to a new vehicle purchase is anywhere between 6 and 8% on a new vehicle. On a used vehicle, we're looking at 11 to 13%. So if you carry that loan through term, 84 months, 96 months, well, those savings between used and new begin to become quite slim. In addition to the reasons we already discussed, used vehicle prices are about ready to shoot to the moon. And for this reason alone, right now, there is a federal kill switch mandate that could come into effect as early as 2027. The law's text is relatively short. It tells the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration to require a passive system that monitors a driver's performance to identify impairment of the driver. It passively detects blood alcohol level if it's going to exceed that 0.08 blood alcohol content limit for driving. It also detects impairment or any kind of distracted driving, which could ultimately limit the vehicle's operation. So remotely, they can kill switch your vehicle, turn it off remotely if they get the sense that you're impaired or tired or distracted. And a lot of folks don't like that type of control, especially here in America, right? So although the intent perhaps is a good thing, right, to prevent drunk driving, that's a good reason, but people don't like that control. That's very Big Brother-esque. So a lot of folks are going to gravitate to the used market, and I think rightfully so. But again, people are so nearsighted when they buy a used vehicle, especially when they buy that used luxury segment vehicle like a BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Porsche. They're setting themselves up for a bunch of hidden nightmares, oftentimes electrical nightmares or even engine issues that become hugely expensive. And so many of us Americans, we're foolish in a sense that we think so many people care what we drive, right? We drive these vehicles thinking that they're status symbols, thinking that people, if they see us driving a BMW, they'll think we're successful. But the reality is we have a huge bank note on that thing at a very high interest rate, and we don't have money stashed away in order to actually pay for those repair bills when they happen inevitably. Like the old saying goes with luxury segment vehicles, if you can't afford a new one, you certainly cannot afford to buy a used one. Too many folks are too prideful to buy a used Toyota or used Honda. You know, it's simplistic, affordable, and reliable option, but rather we feel as though we got to keep up with the Joneses, keep up with what we see online, and well, that often comes at our own detriment. EV buyers are among the first people to regret their purchases here in 2026. Not only are they paying more comparatively to 2025 because we no longer get that federal tax credit of $7,500 being applied to a new EV purchase or $4,500 being applied to a used one. We no longer get that additional credit. So they're overpaying already for this EV. And oftentimes folks, if they buy an electric vehicle, they're often not prepared for what comes with it. You know, that necessary maintenance for those EVs, charging, not having the proper charging stations within their area. And a lot of folks just naturally give up those vehicles when they're not prepared for it. So in addition to overpaying for them, well, people are regretting EVs in general. Not to mention resale values on electric vehicles has gone down tremendously within the United States in recent years. I mean, it's really plummeted, let's face it. So people can't buy one, especially a new one, and have any level of confidence with sustaining a level of residual value in it. Obviously, the current administration within the United States plays a vital role in that. Whether it's a Democrat or Republican holds office, that shifts the emphasis and incentives being offered on EVs. And we're just not seeing them right now, of course. And because EVs have performed so poorly amongst all vehicle manufacturers, with the exception of Tesla really, all the other vehicles amongst their entire lineups, their MSRPs are being hiked upward just to account for those losses. So because EVs have flopped, well, your combustion engine vehicle costs more. And big picture, people right now are struggling to keep up with their ordinary, regular, run-of-the-mill bills. We're talking their rent, their mortgage, the cost of insurance, the cost of groceries. Everything has gotten completely out of touch with reality, it seems. Even going to Burger King, you're spending $6.50, $7 for a Whopper now, which is absolutely sickening to say out loud. Everything has gotten far too expensive, and it is beginning to really hurt Americans. And of course, the first thing to go within an American household is the car payment, because that is the only thing that a lot of folks can justify getting rid of. So that's what we're seeing right now. People can't get rid of the roof over their head. They're not going to get rid of their rent or mortgage payment. They're not going to get rid of the food on their table. They're not going to get rid of their grocery bill. But instead, that car payment goes, and we're seeing it right now. And speaking of record-setting figures, right now within the United States, auto loans account for the second highest debt within the entire country at $1.68 trillion. That is the current auto loan debt within the United States. Kind of wild to say that out loud. That figure right there continuously grows tremendously year after year. It is only second to home loans, mortgages. That is, of course, number one. I'll leave you with this. The best type of vehicle often is a paid-off vehicle. So if you're in a position to buy an affordable, reliable option for your family with cash, that perhaps is the biggest flex that you can do. Buying that brand new BMW or Mercedes-Benz and having a huge monthly payment on it isn't much of a flex. People know that you likely didn't pay cash for it. People don't think you're hugely successful by having a monthly payment on your brand new Benz, right? That's not the reality that we face. There's one thing cooler than having a brand new car, and that's being debt-free. It's liberating. We're all addicted to debt in this country, it seems, but try it out. If you're in a position, cut that debt, you'll feel great. Guys, if you made it to this point in the video, I really appreciate you taking the time to tune in. If you enjoy this type of content whatsoever, I do respectfully request that you please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a ton, and I promise you, it never goes unnoticed. Till next time.